Hello everyone, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking. Today I want to talk about some of the top UFO sightings in Europe over the past 20 years or so. Actually, maybe 30 years or so. Anyways, these are some of the ones that there's been in many cases multiple witnesses, very credible witnesses, and in some cases the military was also involved. And I think some of them you've heard about, some of them you have not. So let's get started, okay? So the first one I want to talk about is one in Exeter, England, and that was in July 1979. So in this particular one, it was a multi-witness sighting. It was well over 100 people. It also included military personnel. And it is considered one of the cornerstones of the European UFO sightings because of the scope of it and the size of it. So it started off with circular discs with lights emitting a humming sound along with the lights. And there was kind of this glow, okay? I've actually talked to somebody many years ago that was in the area during the time and had actually seen something in the sky that was glowing. So we're not 100% sure. That particular person was not sure about the date when he saw it, but he saw something very similar to this. So it was hovering and it was moving, and when it did move, it moved at incredible speed. Now the distance, the witnesses were at varying distances. Some were just barely seeing it. Others were quite close to it. Who knows, maybe there was an abduction in the mix here, but right now I have no proof to that. The military, there was military there that came. And they basically, with their radar and their planes, they try to, I guess, made some type of a contact, at least a visual type contact with their radar. I'm not sure if they were successful or not, but anyways, it was the bottom line was this was quite a major sighting in the Exeter, England area in July 1979. Next, we're going to talk about one in France. And this is it's called the Trans-en-Provence light, and that was in January 1981. So this was really an amazing one because it was thousands of witnesses over multiple villages in this particular area in this province, and so this object was brilliant orange. It was a brilliant orange light, pulsating, changing shapes, and it was dancing and morphing, of course, into different shapes. The movement was hovering, moving slowly across the sky. It would stop a little bit, it would move a little bit, it would stop a little bit, and that's what made it so interesting because people could actually observe it for long periods of time. Let's see what else we got on this one. So the distance here, it was varying distance, and that people were seeing this. Some of it again was close, some of it was far. There was widespread panic among some of the people, and there was some electrical disruptions. And there was, of course, with this, there was many kind of religious interpretations. Was this some type of a sign from God, etc. So that for many years was floating around. Don't know. Maybe it was a sign from God. Who knows? Okay. Then the next one is kind of is one that most of us have all heard about. Was at Rendlesham Forest, and that's in Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, England. So anyways, this one right here was interesting because it was mainly on the Air Force base there. And then there really was involving two Air Force, Royal Air Force servicemen. And basically, they witnessed this triangular craft. It landed, and in this forest area, right out, kind of within the base, and they basically went up to it and had kind of a close encounter with it. And basically it said it was triangular in shape with metallic lights and leaving multiple times. It was basically coming and going. It was erratic in its movements, landing in the forest, disappearing, reappearing. They approached it to a close range. And what was the interesting thing, they almost seemed like they had some type of communication or encounter. It left them with a lot of fear, a lot of confusion, and there was all kinds of attempts when they were all debriefed that seemed that there was some type of a cover-up going on, and we'll never know. But here's the interesting thing. When I lived in Albuquerque, I had talked to a guy that came. I was a logistics general manager, and a guy came to talk to me about getting a job at the facility I was working at. So we were chatting. I don't know how he knew I was interested, and I forget how we got onto the subject, but we did. And he says, "You're not going to believe this, but I was on this base in England," and he basically told the whole story, and it matched everything I've told you so far. And it was pretty incredible. Now, he said that he didn't see it close up like the 2 or 3 servicemen did, but he did see some lights from a distance. And he said that the stories afterwards were quite incredible, even though they were told not to talk about it with each other on the base. But he said after this many years, he said he had no problems chatting with me about it, and I was thrilled to death to hear this kind of out of the blue. Anyways, one of the things he did say is that when he was talking to these other guys that actually witnessed it, he said the UFO, they kept on saying the UFO acted very robotically. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that means precisely, but it was just kind of a strange way, and he even said this, it was just kind of strange the way they said that. So anyways, so that's my little extra piece that I'm going to add to this. Next, we're going to talk about Hessdalen Lights, and this is in Norway. It's in the Hessdalen Valley in Norway. And what is so interesting about this one, these lights have occurred and reoccurred over decades, okay? So it's actually kind of a little bit of a tourist attraction, and it's been studied for a very long time by scientists, okay? Supposed this object is elliptical, cigar-shaped. It was lights, had a lot of lights, usually white or yellow, and moved silently, okay? And I believe there was both day and night sightings of this. So it moved erratically, appearing and disappearing, sometimes splitting into multiple lights, which really is quite fascinating. Again, it was observed at varying distances. It wasn't always kind of the same distance, wasn't always the same in the valley, wasn't in the same spot in the valley, but pretty much all over this particular valley. And what was interesting is it's happened over and over again for probably the last, let me see what the date I had given you. Okay. So I guess there really wasn't a start date on it, or I didn't give it to you. So it's been, they said, several decades when I did my research. So I guess this thing is just ongoing. Shoot, if you're in the area, you could probably go over there and see them. Who knows? But anyways, it has given scientists the reason to study them and look at them on a regular, ongoing basis. So then the next one is in Petit Rachin in Belgium. And this particular sighting happened in July 1989. And this one had to do with a group of teenagers in a quiet Belgian village that had stumbled upon a sight that would change a sighting that would change their life. A dish-shaped craft hovered silently amidst the trees, emitting I guess they call it a soft light. and gave everybody kind of the sense of calm. As they approached it, the object tilted, and they saw several humanoids inside. Again, it was kind of the gray types with the large heads and dark eyes. Then it was kind of one of these mixed feelings. There was this great deal of fear, and there was a great deal of this wonder. And gradually the UFO ascended into the night sky. And what was interesting about that, apparently they took all these teenagers and they all were separated and they gave detailed accounts. And even there were sketches and there was polygraph test. And I guess that kind of experience and after investigation that made this a pretty credible sighting. Even though I guess a lot of people would be a little skeptical because it was teenagers that saw it. But it sounds like they went through a whole battery of tests, and they came out really good in the tests. So anyways, this is kind of considered like the cornerstone of the Belgium UFO lore. Okay? Next, this is Germany now. This is Nuremberg, Germany. And this is in November 2009. And thousands of Germans witnessed a spectacular illuminated night sky above Nuremberg. So this was a fleet of triangular lights arranged in diamond formation, moving silently across the city and just completely defying explanation. Some described a sense of awe and wonder, while others were quite uneasy about what they had saw. The sheer number of the credible witnesses and widespread media coverage made the event significant anomaly in the European UFO history. Okay? The next one is Swedish. So we're kind of spreading this around a little bit. This is Östersund Air Force Base in Östersund, Sweden. So the Swedish Air Force radar operators picked up unidentified object near the Air Force Base. So they scrambled some jets to investigate, but their instruments malfunctioned as they approached the target. The object was described as a metallic cylinder, exhibited impossible and maneuvers. So it was flying at unbelievable speeds apparently, and it was like exceeding all known technology at the time, and probably technology even today, because this was 2000. What did I say? Well, this was 1994. So what are we talking about? Almost 30 years ago, right? Anyways, it sounds like even today's technology could not match what the Swedish Air Force saw. Some described it again that again a metallic object did this impossible maneuvers and encountered the military, acknowledged the existence of UFOs, fueled public debate and in nature. So the bottom line here is, in this Swedish sighting, this was probably, I would consider, one of the many disclosures. And this was 1994, okay? And it sounds like the press picked it up, the military made a strong statement and says that this was a UFO, and this is something we cannot explain, and apparently UFOs are real, okay? So that's that. I'm going to finish on that one. I think this particular Swedish one was quite amazing because they actually came out and made a strong statement in the favor that UFOs are real. Okay, with all that said, we'll see you. Take it easy. Bye-bye.